Today we have a story that, while it only has 15 pages to give a proof of concept, it has hit home, at least to me, so dadgum much. We are talking about Across the Bear, a short story, and hopefully a character that will live on in the Rippaverse, from J. David, otherwise known as Drunk 3PO, or now Don 3PO. This is what we're talking about today. So here's my little video essay on how it affected me. Now, if you guys have not been made aware of the Saints and Sinners anthology, the first ever anthology from the Rippaverse, I highly recommend you go and get it. There are 6 to 7 stories in there from different authors, and they basically have 15 pages to tell their story. The one that I am focusing on today is Drunk 3PO's Across the Bear, with the main character Cameron Cross, a spirit of vengeance. His past, though murky, clearly illustrates that unspeakable tragedies have unfolded in his life, possibly by his own hands. He doesn't know yet. But what has he done, and at whose behest? This is how we start the story. It comes up with a whole bunch of questions. We don't get a whole lot of answers, but there is a lot more to glean from this. Now, awakening in this stupor, unsure of his own name, much less what he has done, there is a constant. He remains hard set on his morals, as shown by the first encounter, saving a woman from having her dignity stripped from her. I'm not going to show you those panels because they could be a little bit frightening for people who aren't ready for it. A sense of justice, though, it prevails. Even in the blurriest of moments, this all comes as an outcry against the brainwashing that he has experienced in the military. The orders, the routine, the lockstep pattern. With a gun at his hip and a commandant in his ear, he was bred to follow, not lead. And now he has to question it. This is one of the great things. I wish I could show you more pictures than what I'm putting on the screen, but there is so much more than what is just on these 15 pages. Times have changed, though. The questioning of morality is the greatest puzzle, both in its simplicity and simultaneously its complexity, because he doesn't know where he's from. We do find out later. We found out at the same time that he finds out that he is a cyborg and was part of a government experiment, a militaristic experiment, and was used as a weapon. Well, now everything's coming back home. Everything's going down. I don't know if they wiped his mind. I don't know if that's a part of Jay's program, but that's exactly what has happened. The last thing that he remembers is being struck by lightning, or maybe he has lightning powers. And now he has a clearness of mind, a clearness of thought. And what does he immediately rush to? He immediately rushes back to the heart and soul. What have I done? Do I even know? And is it something that I can rationalize? So, as we go on, borders have been broken mentally. The spirit cannot withstand a barrage of conflicting tropes. He doesn't fully understand yet Cameron Cross, but he will not be contained. He won't go down and kowtow to that stuff anymore. Although he is a cyborg, a willing recipient of experimental powers, the wires in his head and in his heart cannot cross whenever he thinks about the human side of his psyche. He is a hybrid, capable of humanity while also being capable of extraordinary feats. But how will he use them? These are all questions that come up whenever we're reading this. And this is one of those great stories where it's kind of up to the reader to decide. Now, how will you decipher them? How will you read into the way that he is reacting, responding to this new knowledge, almost like he woke up from a trance, as anyone with a tug on their hearts, a stretch on their soul. It is no mere coincidence that he goes to a church and kneels down, begging, prostrate, to understand what comes next. What atrocities has he committed and been subservient to? Where does he fit into this world that he has been dropped like an errant crumb from the lips of a slovenly gentleman? What is going on with him? Not only does he not know, but we don't know either. And this is the part that really makes me feel for this character and why I want to see more of him is this exact thing. He has absolutely nothing to fall back on. No memories, no anything of that nature. Where does he go? He goes to the Lord. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. I am a devout Christian. So this is exactly where we all should go. When we are nothing without him. We can be made as tools and vessels for other people. But when it comes down to it at the end of the day, your soul is what matters. And Cameron Cross is looking for his soul where he may have gone wrong. And we did see him do some wrong things. He is looking for that justification. Questions arise if it was a hypnotic trance that harnessed his cyborg powers for selfish governmental reasons. The humanity in him shines through, though. A burst of light splayed against the cold and cruel steel hand of military order. Don't think, obey. We can see this in parallels all across modern society. So I don't really think it needs to be, there's much more that needs to be said about that. I would rather you think about what's being said and think about what's going on in Cameron Cross's mind. Now, when Cameron does think, he searches his soul. There must be something more to this world, to this power, to who he is as a human being. The one thing they cannot take from him is his soul. He is still human, and his heart is searching for the truth, for the light, the candle that illuminates the darkness in the passageways he has been traveling. And that's exactly where it ends. And that's exactly what this entire story is about. It's about a man who has done things in the past, maybe not even remember it. You know, you could draw so many correlations to drunken stupor or like this was a drug-fueled time in his life. Obviously, we get to see a little bit about the militaristic side, and I don't know how much y'all know about that, but I have members of my family that were in the military, and they literally tell you that it was a brainwashing technique that they used. We can't speak for Ryan or anything like that. He could speak for himself, but they have told me this throughout all of it. But there's so much that can go into this, and the fact that at the end of the day, when he doesn't know when he's the most lost, when he feels the most lost, he is looking forward to that higher purpose, to that higher goal, to that higher entity. That's immediately where he goes. And that's immediately where we go whenever we are feeling broken and lost. I think Jay knocked it out of the park whenever it comes to this. I hope that we get to see Cameron Cross a little bit more. Maybe Across the Bear next year. Go ahead, commit to it. I dare you. If you guys have read this book, it is specifically the story. If you guys have read this and have anything else to say, if you have a different way that it hits you, because it should hit you in multiple different ways, but where is it actually going to hit you? It's going to hit you right here. Make you ask questions. Make you question yourself and the soul and the spirit that you put out on people that you meet in everyday lives or that you meet in the chat. That is exactly what it should do, and that's what it does to me. And hopefully it does the same to you. If you guys have anything to say, leave it down in the comment section below. This is Multi from Mouth of Multi. We love you. Drunk DPO, absolutely awesome. Hail the Rippaverse. And we will see you on the next one. Bye!